Hello, hi. Welcome to Wonderslut. I am about to let my guest in. I'm very excited for this conversation. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Just shout out to my sponsors. So thankful for you here. Thank you for supporting this work. It is constantly evolving, and I just love all the things. I have people reach out to me that say, "Oh my gosh, this conversation was so needed. Thank you so much." I'm like, thank you. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And also, sometimes I get real fearful and I tell myself to shut the fuck up. Rebecca, what are you doing? But here we are, and continuing to just show up and do the work and bring enlightening, fun conversations to you as you transform into beautiful human beings. You're already beautiful, but you know what I mean. Okay, here we go. Hello.
There we go.
Yay.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Okay, Lisa, introduce us. We're already rolling. So,
We're
and I'm
rolling.
recording this
Okay.
time. Oh my God. Last time we did this whole conversation, it was so great. And I did record for 6 minutes. So I think it was my headphones. When I hit the thing, it shut off. So
Oh
here we are.
no.
Take two.
Yep, no headphones today.
No, I got a new microphone though. It's very exciting.
Oh, I like it. It looks cool. It kind of looks like mine too. My little light
Uh,
is hiding though. But I'm Lisa, the infinite unfolding. I'm not really sure what to say about myself. You found me on TikTok,
yep.
and I'm just a girl with a fucked up nervous system that figured some shit out, like science wise, about how all that works, and was like, I got to go share this with as many people as I can. And I did. And I just had no idea how many people resonated with what I had to say as someone who's got a nervous system that runs amok every single day. You know, so many of us are in that spot.
I think that's the thing that was so appealing for me is when I started watching your videos, I was like, oh, she's like nailing it. Like, and I love that you sprinkle in curse words because I that makes me feel like very comfortable. Like, good.
Yeah.
She likes to say fuck. That's good. Um, and I that was the unraveling for me, was understanding that all of this stuff that I was trying to make like a morality issue was
Mhm.
really just about how my body was functioning.
Yeah. I spent probably all of my 45 years thinking something has to be colossally fucking wrong with me to
Hmm.
be the only person in my family who can't get their shit together, to be like the only like person among all the people I can see who feels like a wreck inside every day, you know, who struggles to go to the grocery store or be in a crowd full of people or XYZ, you name it. And yeah, I really thought for the longest time, you're fucked up. That's why you're not healed yet. That's why you keep repeating these same patterns. And that was what, when I started finding out how your nervous system operates and what it does when you've been through trauma, same thing. I was like, oh my God, it's not personal. It is not personal to me. It is not my fucking fault. It's just my nervous system trying to protect me. And I think that's what drove me to be like, I have to tell people this, because I
Mm,
didn't know how many other people really were out there that felt the same way. I just knew that I felt that way. And it was like the heavens opened up when I found this information out. And evidently it did for a lot of other people when they started coming across a lot of those videos, just like it did with you. And it
yeah.
was just like, wow. It's because it's
Well,
just not taught enough. We just don't know about it, you
yeah,
know?
and I think that space is held by people who are scientists and doctors and who appear to have it together, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
I've heard the information before, but it didn't resonate with me because it's not they're not like vibing on my level of just being fucking authentic, right? It was
Yeah.
like they're coming at it from, I'm a professional and I've studied this my whole life and I've researched it and I have all these degrees to support this and blah, blah, blah. And who really resonates with that? Not normal
No.
people, you know? It like
Mm-mm.
puts you in this league of like, oh, you're superior to me and your life must be amazing because you have all this amazing information. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just not how people like, that's not how they learn. They want to know someone like me is doing this.
Yep.
you know?
Yeah. And when I started studying it, that language that these people talk in when they're, these neuroscientists and things like that, it's so hard to understand as just a person, as a layman person. We're just
Yeah,
humans going about our day. I don't know what half of those words mean.
right.
And I had to really break the information down kind of in the same way that I give it to other people, even just for me to understand it and be like, absorb it into myself and be like, oh, now when I find myself in functional freeze, I can actually logically walk myself through why that's happening instead of kicking myself going, why are you so lazy? Why can't you get up and do the three things on your to-do list? So it's like, yeah, I mean, even the statement you said, it sets those people in a position where you almost feel like they're superior to you
Hmm.
because they have all this knowledge and all these degrees and letters behind their name, but are they
Hmm.
actually living it? And 9 times out of 10, the people that we look at that we think have it all together, they're a fucking mess at home. I mean, really, I don't trust people that say their life is totally beautiful and
Mm-mm,
magical and they handle every day with grace. I don't believe you.
mm-mm,
I
mm-mm. I don't
don't.
either. And in fact, I was telling my son the other day, and these words like came back to haunt me because I said, you can judge a person by how they act in their home. So I know you. You can go out there and, be like you on the outside, put on this mask, but I know
Hmm.
the real you. Well, the other day when I was yelling at my kid, I was like, oh shit. Well, that's coming back to haunt me. Like, oh, my kids know me. What are they going to say about me?
Yes,
And I had to like
exactly.
actually live that out in my home life. That's the most important place. That's where
Hmm.
all your shit gets exposed. That's who you're authentically, you know,
Yes.
not like what the world thinks of you.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
so
that's where
fascinating.
I think at home again, and it goes back to something I learned about my kids because I used to struggle when my kids were younger about why they would be perfect for other people. Like my mom would watch them and they'd be little angels. And then they would
Yes.
come home and have all this like bad behavior at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And somebody had told me one time that they said, well, the reason why your kids act like that around you is because they feel safe enough that you
Mm-hmm.
won't like not love them if they act that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I've held on to that my whole life because I think it's so true as well. When we're at home, even as adults, I think there's a large part of us that feels safe in our home to let our guard down and let, those traumas come out. But, when we live with other people, then those things affect those other people. And you and I even talked about this in the last one because I was having some issues with me acting that way with my kids and blowing my top and over dumb things. And it's so important to practice it at home because that
Mm-hmm.
is where you're your true self. That's where all your little cracks show. Like we go out in the world and we smooth them all over, and we go, no, we don't have cracks, or we try to hide them a little bit, but at home there's no hiding it. Those people know us too well.
It's so true. It is so true. I mean, anybody that lives with you knows who you actually are.
Yeah.
And
So you want to interview my kids for the next podcast? Who is the infinite unfolding really?
it's so funny. It is so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, I was thinking like I'm not a fan of the way we've structured our life, like this 8 to 5 bullshit,
Yeah.
expecting us to show up the same every day and work in the grind. And you have to be an incredible actor to function in today's society, right?
Oh,
And
most
I
definitely.
think all of the masks that we put on are necessary if we want to keep up the pace of our lives. It's
Yeah.
necessary. That is like
Hmm.
survival mode, which means that our nervous systems are fucked up and it
Yes.
finds you eventually. It finds you. You start
Hmm.
having serious health problems. That's usually what happens is your body starts deteriorating because
Yeah.
you're keeping a pace and this level of falseness that we were never meant to have.
Yeah. I agree. And your body will start screaming at you if you don't listen to it. Because even along that whole path of years where we might be pushing through and putting on those masks and ignoring the signs in our body will get to a point where it's screaming as loudly as possible. And that comes in the form of illness, disease, or scary things happening. I remember I was actually talking about this the other day. There was about 5 years ago. I was working a job where I just was stressed to the max. And I was stressed in my life. I was trying to buy a house for the first time. There was just like all this stress going on. And I started having stroke like symptoms,
Mm.
like one side of my body would start to go numb and like little parts and pieces. And I freaked out. Of course, I go to the doctor, they do all the scans, and they're like looking at me like, you're completely healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. You have anxiety. Here's an anxiety pill for you. And it I kind of put two and two together a little bit later. Like obviously the anxiety medication helped in the short term with what I was feeling, but also quitting that fucking job helped more than the medication did, right? Like I changed the situation that I was in and I said, no more, I'm not doing this. And uh but the scary symptoms that my body was yelling at me was because I had lived 40 years up to that point, completely ignoring the fact that I even have a nervous system and just
Mhm.
thinking everybody feels this way inside and everybody else can do it. So I just have to go out there and do it too, no matter how I feel on the
Mhm.
inside. And that was the very wrong thing to do.
Mhm.
My body told me very quickly, like, no, no, we're not going to continue doing this bullshit. Like, you need to sit down and do something different.
Well, I find it's a gift, when you start having physical symptoms and you are digging into, okay, maybe I am living a life that is not congruent with who my soul wants to be. It's a gift, because otherwise, I mean, otherwise you're just half-ass living your life. You're not really present,
Mm-hmm.
you're just a robot
Yeah. Getting
program.
up and functioning, even though you hate it, you
Right.
know?
And there's like
And
this low level grumble.
I love that you say it's a gift because it is. It is like the biggest blessing and gift that you can get. But I feel like for most of us, when it's actually happening, it doesn't necessarily feel like a
No,
gift.
no.
It is not until we look back and go, oh, that's why that happened. And that was better for me, you know? Um, I mean, I can think of moments in my life where, well, just recently, in December when I left my full time real estate job that I was kicking ass at, but miserable every day, when all of that fell apart, um, because I couldn't take it anymore. I just said, I can't do this. I'm not going to keep putting my body through this and my mind through this. And like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's not fucking this anymore, It felt like I was actually making the worst decisions of my life in that moment. Like even though that was what I needed to do, it was also like throwing me into what my mind considered danger. You're in the danger zone now. Now you don't have an income. What the fuck are you going to do? You've
Mhm.
made dumb decisions your whole life. Now you're making another one. And that mental like loop of those thoughts and beliefs when you're trying to do that can really fuck with you. Right.
Mhm.
But looking back at it now, I'm like, I should have done that 2 years sooner. Like that, I'm, the Lisa I am today is not the Lisa I was November of last year. It's two completely different people because I said no more to that situation that was killing me.
Yeah.
And it was me killing me too. It wasn't even that the situation itself was bad, as I kept pushing myself and grinding and putting on that mask every day and going, I'm fine, I'm good, I got this. But at home, I'm throwing up every morning before I go to work and staying up all night, worried about other people's real estate decisions and whether I'm going to get paid and just making myself sick over a job, over an income, you know?
Well, I think you don't know what it looks like on the other side when you're in it, You have no
No.
idea what it looks like to feel happy and at peace in your body, you know?
Yeah.
You just think this is just normal. Like,
Yeah.
my son is incredibly inflamed. He's very overweight, and I mean, it's not fat though. I took him to a functional medicine doctor and they looked at him and said, "That boy has never known what it feels like to feel good in his body."
Yeah.
And I just wanted to like sob because I'm like, once he gets well, he's gonna
Yeah.
be a totally different kid.
It's going
But
to be like a whole new world, like
I
that
know.
Disney song, a whole new world. Well, you know what? I took that when the doctor prescribed me the anxiety medication for the
Mhm.
symptoms I was having. I remember
Mm.
taking, and I don't take medication because I'm very much a natural person. I don't, unless it's for an acute reason because I've got an emergency. I don't really want to do it. But I did take that anxiety medication, and I remember saying to myself, "Is this what people feel like? Not feeling anxious on the inside?" Like I thought that was just how I felt. I didn't realize that there was another way to feel where it takes out like the stomach flip flopping and being worried all the time. Um, and that was another reason why I was like, okay, I'm only going to take this anxiety medication for these like 2 weeks that I have it for, and then I'm not going to take it again because this feels fucking good. And I could definitely like do this more. But yeah, it highlighted for me hugely like, oh, there's another way to feel inside. And this way that I've been feeling maybe isn't like the way I should be. And so for your son, yeah, if he's absolutely been in that state where inflammation's been running rampant in his body, once that inflammation has been under control, because inflammation, if you think about it, I mean, it affects your health, it affects the way you think, it affects your mental health, it affects everything. Um,
Mhm.
and in people that are chronically stressed, our inflammation's super high. It's why we
Mhm.
have all the issues that we do,
Mhm.
you know? And so when we can get control of that and be doing things daily that counteract that and lead to healing, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like we feel like
Mhm.
completely different people because we're
Yeah.
fixing the things that made us feel bad, you know?
I was telling my friend the other day, I said, we spent the first half of our life, I would say I was put on medication in my late 20s. I was on
Hmm.
Wellbutrin, I think. So
Yeah.
I was medicated for almost 2 decades,
Yeah.
which numbs out every emotion that's trying to surface, right? It just
Hmm.
numbs it out.
Yeah.
And so now I cry freely, and it's just like this untapped reservoir of emotions constantly bubbling to the surface, and I'm like, I don't give a shit if you're uncomfortable. I am a human being. This is actually how you're supposed to function in the world. And all
Yeah.
this medication bullshit, we're just zoned out, half zombies, which we have to be to keep up with what we're doing to ourselves, but
Hmm. But
it's
it's not the way
so
we should be
fucked up.
living. Yeah.
No.
And if you think about it, in your case, you got 20 years of emotions you've pushed down that are now all bubbling up on top of all the other shit. You should cry. You should cry.
Oh, I do. I feel fine about it. I'm like, I don't know if you follow Zach Bush. I love him. I talk about
Mhm.
him all the time.
Yeah.
But he's like, that is the answer to our evolution, is to feel all the things. Just feel
Hmm.
it. Sit in it. You don't have to like dwell on it. You're not like, what did you say? The waterboard. You're not a cancer that's waterboarding themselves with their emotions. That was one of my favorite videos. Oh my God.
I loved it. I've known a lot of cancers too, and I was like, that shit's accurate as fuck.
It is so true. I sent it to my cancer friend. I don't think she appreciated it, but
Oh well.
I mean, we're not supposed to do that, but feel it, and then it's gone in 20 seconds. Like
Hmm.
my turnover rate of dealing with my emotions is so high now. I'm like, okay, I'm over it. I feel fine. What's
Yeah,
next?
you're like a little factory. You're like, okay, I know that I have the line down. You come over here, you get processed, I cry, and then 5 seconds later, we're on to the next thing. It's no big deal. You've systematized your
Right?
emotional processing.
Isn't it beautiful? It's
It's
so
amazing.
beautiful.
I love
It's
it. But that's
amazing.
what our brains do and our bodies do when you think about it. It just has to know, like, what do you want it to be systematized? Are you systematizing your healing? Are you systematizing your trauma, like, and doing things that contribute to it?
Mm.
But I think when you are taking those baby steps every day, right? Just like you probably have in the last couple of years, your body starts to realize, oh, this is actually what we're focusing on. We're moving towards healing, no longer being in this space where we feel broken or alone or XYZ, whatever feelings we have. And then our brain's like, okay, cool. Now that we know what direction we're going, now we're going to automate that process for you so that you can focus on other things. It's literally what the brain does. It's its only function is to go, what are you focused on? And it looks at what we're thinking or visualizing, right? Mental pictures in our head. That's what it uses as the source of where our body's going or what our goals are. And so, and I try to use this example when I'm, because this was big for me with like my recurrent and like thought loops, right? Of like, I'm not good enough. And then finding evidence in my, vicinity that I'm not good enough. Well, when you've presented that picture to your brain for however many years of I'm not good enough, your brain automates I'm not good enough. And it will find any evidence it can in your environment to show you that you're not good enough, even if there are twice as many things in your environment that show
Hmm.
that you are good enough.
Hmm. It hones in on
So,
the thing that it believes.
yeah, it's like, what are your
What is that
beliefs? And
called?
then that's what
Something
you're going to
bias.
see. Yeah,
Yeah.
confirmation bias. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Um, and that's because of our brain has a filter that does that for us. And so
Mhm.
it's called the reticular activating system. I call it the RAS. Um, but it basically, yeah, it goes out and it finds all those things for you and filters out anything else that doesn't match. And it goes back to when we were like hunting in the Sahara, like, you know what I mean? Like we had to be on the lookout for danger. So if we went
Mhm.
out there and we're like, okay, we have two goals today. We're going to kill a deer and we're going to not get eaten. That's the only thing the brain's looking for. So it's scanning for danger at all times
Mhm.
and it's blocking out
Mhm.
anything that's not so that we don't have to work as hard. And our brains just
Mhm.
still do that, except it's focused on fucking depression and anxiety and not, you know, killing a deer. So,
Yeah, it is so
uh,
true. All the fucked up programs that we've been told our whole lives. It's on a loop in our brain.
mm-hmm,
And
yeah,
yeah, I did that TikTok the other day, and I meant to tag you, and I didn't do it, but it was about the nervous system, how we stay small because it's your nervous system telling you that that is dangerous to dream big, and to
mm-hmm,
have new thoughts is dangerous, and so we
yeah,
keep ourselves stuck in these small little corners of the world on
yeah,
in fear. We don't even know we are. We can logic all the things out. Our brains are so good and they are brilliant, and so we're like making great arguments for ourselves to protect ourselves from things that are actually good for us.
yeah,
Growth is great. Evolution is amazing. Increasing your consciousness level is like orgasmic, but your body is like, oh no. So we're like just victims of what?
yeah.
So
Of
fascinating.
It's wild. I notice this the most when so I have a dirty secret. I'm a smoker that is trying to quit smoking. I smoke cigarettes.
That's not a
And
secret. I saw a TikTok about it. You said you said
I mean, well, the cigarettes we want to stop. But I'll be on my porch and I'll be like having a cigarette, right? And I'll start thinking to myself, like I always do, okay, Lisa, we got to make a plan to actually quit smoking.
yeah.
And if I'm not careful about where my brain goes when I start that conversation, my brain will immediately go to think about how anxious you're going to feel not having a cigarette that first day, Lisa. Hey, think about how
Uh-huh.
mad you're going to be every time somebody pisses you off and you can't go have a cigarette. Think about how uncomfortable you're going to be in your car, not being able to have a cigarette like you normally do driving down the road. Like it starts
Uh,
bringing up all these immediate,
yes.
like uncomfortable things. And it's like, oh, bitch, no, let's not get healthy because for like 5 days, it's going to be really uncomfortable. And this is what blows my mind is because like quitting smoking will lead me to years longer of living and I'll feel better and I'll breathe better and I won't have headaches or XYZ. But no, all my brain looks at is you're going to change something that we've done for 30 years and I don't like that.
Mhm.
I'm going to
Mhm.
really do my best to make you feel as uncomfortable about that change as possible so that you don't even attempt it, much
Right.
less attempt it. And then if you attempt it, then it starts acting really like a toddler because it's like, I told you I didn't want to do that thing. And now you're trying to heal. So now I'm going to make it even more uncomfortable because now I'm worried I'm going to fucking die. And it's
Yes.
just like you're fighting yourself
Yeah.
just trying to heal sometimes, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
even like yesterday, I have to remind myself I'm fighting against a body that wants to sabotage me at every turn. Like it just does. It does.
Oh,
It does. And it's unfortunate but we're actually smarter than the whole system itself. We are.
Mhm.
It just
We are.
seems smarter than us or more in control because it's a more automated subconscious thing that we're not as aware
Mhm.
of. That is all, you
Well, I
know?
think everything goes back to us being connected to our egos and not to source.
Hmm.
When you're connected to the source of all things and the higher consciousness, then you override these basic tenets that
Hmm.
you've told yourself. The programming becomes
Yeah.
less and less important, but that is like daily in the grind, doing the mantras, like
Hmm.
reprogramming your thoughts intentionally, like on
Yeah.
purpose.
Hmm.
And
And it's,
people are not a fan of that. They
no,
want
they're not.
you also.
But it's effective. Like I will
Mhm,
share another personal story, and I love telling this story to anybody that even expresses an interest in this topic, because you're absolutely right. Healing your nervous system and a spiritual practice have to, they go hand in hand. They support each
mhm,
other. It's hard to have one without the other. And you can have whatever spiritual practice you want, but it's just a practice of being connected to something bigger than yourself,
mhm.
whatever that is.
Yep.
When I started my TikTok channel, because I knew I was fighting already against my nervous system and fear of being seen, and I was putting myself out there in a way that I'd never done before, and that was very scary to me. And I was worried, yeah, of rejection, of course, you know.
Mhm,
So I decided to go into it very prepared, and I had a very strict like practice that I would do every day. I would get up in the morning and I would write my affirmations. I would write my manifestations. I would gratitude dump. I was just focused on what I wanted to happen. I had
mhm,
a grounding practice I would do every day at lunchtime. And then at nighttime, I would have visualizations that I would visualize at nighttime. And it was really just visualizing being successful. Like, what is the
mhm,
ultimate outcome of what you're trying to do? Let's imagine that. Like, let's have fun with that.
mhm.
And I did those things every day for months. And in the first, I would say from March, April, May, so the first 3 months of my TikTok channel was where I went from 3,000 followers to 30,000 followers in probably like 60 days, which
Mhm.
was wild to me. I was like, I
Yeah,
can't even believe this many people want to listen to me.
yeah.
And then I got out of that practice because all the success of TikTok freaked me out. I'll be honest
Mhm,
with you. I wasn't ready for it. And I
yeah.
had people sending me messages going, all right, what's next? And I'm like, I
Mhm,
don't know what's next. I don't know. So I backed off. I stopped my spiritual practices. I stopped my journaling that I was doing. I just kind of fell off the wagon, so to speak. And looking back, I can see where like life changed at that time too. Like it was great. I was optimistic, positive, things were happening. I could see opportunities while I was doing my practices. And as soon as I stopped, within a month, life was looking a little bleaker again. Does
mhm.
that make sense? Like, and I
Yeah.
absolutely attribute it to doing the things or not doing the things that keep you
Mhm,
focused. You
mhm.
know, it's
It's
so
so
important.
true. It's so true. I mean, I every day is like, what can I do today to grow and to be a better person? What shadow do I need to face today? And how can
Hmm.
I evolve into the best version of myself? And people do not support that. They just don't. They support very small bits and pieces, but really they're looking at you like, what are you going to do with your life? Why don't you have a
Hmm.
job? Why don't you have a boyfriend? Why aren't you making a shit ton of money? It's like all of these. I'm like, I feel fine.
Yeah, I'm
I'm like
happy.
disengaged with the world, just living my fucking hippie life, hugging trees, walking in the park, listening to nature. And I, I can't. I am not going to participate in whatever you got going on. All these like errands and the extracurricular activities and all the
Mhm.
meetings and oh my God, no, no.
Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want it. It's not appealing to me. Just in the
Mm-mm.
same way that whatever you're doing is not appealing to them for whatever reason. And that's what
Right.
I bothers me about sometimes the exact thing you're talking about is people coming to you having certain expectations on how you should live your life and or
Mm,
what you should be doing. And if you're not doing those things, then like there's something wrong with you or you're not successful, or like that whole mentality bothers me to no end, because it's like we are all completely different creatures. Every single one of us. There's not a single one of us that is the same, period. So, like, what I should be doing with my life doesn't necessarily mean it should match some predetermined outline of what a successful life looks like. Who made that outline? Who said
Right.
that working a 9 to 5 is success? Who said that
Right.
doing all of these things, make you a functional human being? Like, who made those rules? That's where I have the problem with it. Because I'm very
Right.
much, I think, just like you are. Like, I want to live my life the way I want to, in a way that makes me happy, in a way that I'm of service to people or myself or whatever. And for someone to come along and have a problem with that because you're not doing it in the way that they would, I think you need to look at that, friend. Why do you expect me to be like you? What's going on there?
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on that. I don't vibe well with people that are like, you should do it this way. No, the fuck, I should not. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it whatever way I want.
Not at all an Aquarius.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I
Rebel.
love that about you. You have siblings, right?
I have an
Are
older
you
sister and a younger stepsister.
okay? So you're a middle child also. I just did this deep dive about birth order yesterday because my older sister seems to be, from all appearances, like compliant. She's had the long marriage. She's a wonderful mother, all the
Mm-hmm.
things, right? And my younger brother, same thing, like very tidy lives. And here I am just like in the middle, the wild child. And the middle child is the one that like doesn't have, like, we're just free flowing. We're able to be the independent thinkers, and
Yeah,
we don't feel the structure or the pressure to do the things. So I kind of love that.
I do
But
too. Very similar family framework for me. My older sister, my younger sister, very long-standing marriages, very long-standing careers, extremely successful individuals. And I love them. They've worked hard to be where they're at. But then you have Lisa, who has just seemed to live this like free spirited, up and down, and, challenge after challenge life, and never been married for longer than 2 years, and like what might look like as a mess to other people. But I I don't feel, and like I said, I don't know if it's because I'm a middle child or an Aquarius, but like I don't feel beholden to fit a mold or a role. Like my soul doesn't jive with that, right? Like on the
right.
inside. Like if you're like, this is the way you have to be, it's like, I'm not going to do that anyway. And so what a perfect like birth order for me to be put in, because I'm
Right.
not, if I was the first child, the golden child, the responsible one, yeah, no, that wouldn't have worked out. That wouldn't have existed
Right.
because that's just
Right.
not who I am.
Right. Right.
But my whole life looking at that, I would have told you that there was something wrong with me, that I wasn't as successful as my sisters, or I didn't have the same
Yep.
life they did. That
Yep.
comparison is huge if
Yep.
you don't understand the dynamics behind it, or like the why.
Yeah.
But yeah, black
I
sheep of the
totally agree.
family, the
Hmm.
whole family's successful, and they're like, well, there's Lisa doing whatever she's doing.
Right. Which
And
I
I'm like,
mean,
I'm having fun. I'm living life. I'm doing things that make me happy.
right. I think they are too. I think they just find that, stability more appealing than I do. I
Hmm.
could have stayed married. I was married for 8 years, and I could have stayed married and suffered through
Hmm.
it, but that wasn't appealing to me. I didn't give a shit about tearing down a system of, I
Hmm.
mean, I did. That's not fair. I felt a lot of guilt about it. Like I wish that I could have behaved, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't in the cards for me.
No. Mm-mm. And I
So
think we
tell
all
me
go
about
through that. Hmm. What's that?
this. You did a TikTok the other day, and I didn't fully finish listening to it, but it was about the pituitary glands. Talk to me about that.
Oh, it's actually your vestibular system. So, and I'm learning about this a lot too. So, your vestibular system are these like, it's these little bags of fluid in your ears, right? And like the anatomy of it is there's some crystals in there too, right? And so the basic purpose of your vestibular system biologically is it just tells your brain where you're at in space. So, like if you're walking around, it tells your brain you're moving and you're walking around. If you're sitting still, it tells your brain, oh, okay, we're sitting still. But I found out about it because I've noticed that in the last, I don't know, couple of years, I started having a lot of ringing in my ears and a lot of like weird sounds in my ear when I would like hold my head a certain way, right? And I was like, this is really strange. Like it doesn't bother me, but I wonder if there's a connection between the nervous system and this ear system. So I started digging into it and I found out they're actually directly connected to each other to the point where if you have a problem with your nervous system, it can set off problems with your vestibular system, which can make you dizzy, nauseous, um, like uh, almost like disassociating, like you're kind of out of your body. It just creates all these like weird symptoms. You can get ringing in your ear, you can get the pulsing, like almost sounds like a heartbeat in your ear. So having a dysregulated nervous system for too long can start to cause problems in the vestibular system in your ear. Vice versa, though, if you have a problem with your vestibular system, meaning like you get vertigo a lot or um, car sickness, sometimes that is a symptom of the vestibular issue. Um, Over time, if you have those for long enough, they can start to affect your nervous system and cause symptoms of depression, anxiety, all those nasty things that come along with a dysregulated nervous system. And so it blew my freaking mind to find out how connected, like completely interconnected these two systems are. And it's just one more thing down the rabbit hole of everything in our body is connected to each other. And a
Mm-hmm.
problem in one place can cause really weird fucking symptoms because it's causing a problem in another place that we don't even realize. But
Mm-hmm.
I've had these ear issues for years, like to where if I lay on one side like this, it just sounds like a heartbeat in my ear and I can't sleep. So I have to like lay on one side. And I didn't start noticing it happen until my nervous system was really in severe overdrive based on the last couple of years that I've had. So it was just wild. But that's basically, yeah, what the video was about, your ear juice.
So
Which people had a
fascinating.
strong reaction to the word ear juice, by the way.
Let them, whatever. It's
I
fine.
know. I used it on purpose. I was like, we're calling it ear juice today. That'll make it go viral.
Well, I was thinking, somebody asked me in an interview once, I think I might have told you this, like, when did you know that you were like over the worst part of your healing? And when I look back on it, it was definitely healing my nervous system, right?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
learning to emotionally regulate myself, feeling
Yeah.
calm and peaceful most of the time. And it was when I had a conversation with my dad who told, I mean, he didn't say anything to me directly, but I said to him, I had been searching for his approval my whole life, right? And I
Yeah.
said to him, it's okay if you're not proud of me. I'm proud of myself. And I didn't
Hmm.
cry. I had no like emotional reactivity to it at all. My body felt totally centered and solid
Hmm.
and strong, and I felt incredible peace. And I was like, "Oh my God, I think I'm here." I'm like,
Oh
maybe
my
there's
God.
what? It was so fascinating. And still to this day, people can like be reactive all around me. And I'm just calmly processing and sitting there and listening. And, sometimes I'll have to take a minute and breathe and put my hand on my heart to remind
Hmm.
myself that I'm safe. But it's so fascinating. So, have you had moments like that?
I have. I think you're a little bit further along in your nervous system healing than I am. I'm still very much learning so much and learning how to implement tools in the moment. Um, I have some moments where I'm entering in a situation and I can realize I'm reacting differently, right? Like, let's say, for example, when I was a real estate agent for 3 years, I had kind of jumped into that job in that position, really feeling like I didn't belong in that role. And I had to really fight myself on feeling confident or not having my nervous system react when I was dealing with, how do I say it? High stress situations in the real estate realm, right? Let's think of it this way. I would freaking panic. Like I would have so much anxiety over a real estate negotiation. That's just fucking standard, right? That any real estate agent should be able to handle. But I felt so inept and such a low self-worth, but I'm putting on a mask that says I'm capable. That was super hard for me. Now, I worked on that a lot in those 3 years that I was a real estate agent because I was like, you cannot operate in this realm unless you get control of at least this aspect of why you're freaking out in these. And so I did it was a
Mhm.
lot of breath work. It was a lot of like telling myself over and over again, like, I know you're nervous, but we're going to let it work out. Just give it a couple more hours before you freak out or whatever it is. I am still in the real estate world, even though I'm not selling real estate. And I find myself finding it much, much easier to have the conversations with clients because I still do have clients. I refer to other people where I have conversations with them. Um, I had to actually negotiate for my boss the other day, and I was able to negotiate without feeling anxious about it. And so, in that realm, in the professional world of that, yeah, I've had moments where I'm like, oh, I didn't realize how far I'd come until I experienced this again. In the
Mhm.
calm, emotional, like keeping myself centered, there's still so much more work there to do. And that's where I really consider like, I don't feel like I'm really healing until I'm healing that part of me. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I worked on it in a baby way with my real estate stuff, but now it's like, okay, now you've actually really got to apply it to the whole system and start feeling that way. But it's such a gradual thing. And I wanted to ask you too, because I think it's such a gradual thing where you're working on it for such a long time and then you start seeing results. So how long had you been working on it before you had that conversation with your dad?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
5 years.
8 years? Five
5 years.
years, exactly. And when you had that conversation, did you, and I mean, I think I know the answer because you kind of said it when you were telling it. Did you even know that your body was going to have that kind of like non-reaction to it when you started that conversation?
Um, no, but I felt fine with whatever reaction my body had.
See, that's a good place to be in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I
to
was
have the
okay if I
experience.
cried. I was okay if I got angry, but
Mhm. And then to have the experience of your body showing you that none of those things are even going to happen, like you really have healed that part of you that feels like you need that approval, like you really have come that far because you're not
well,
crying about it, you're not upset.
oh, I definitely cried about it, but it wasn't reactive. It was like
Yes.
I'm unearthing, actual emotions.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that worthiness is so tied to the healing of our nervous system is understanding that it doesn't matter if nobody else fucking has me. I have myself.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
that applies to every fucking relationship in your life.
Hmm.
It's okay if everybody fucking leaves me. I will
Yeah.
be fine. And
Hmm.
I had to fully accept that fact before I think my nervous system started really feeling calm.
Yeah, well, your nervous system kind of reads when it's dysregulated, it's reading everything as danger. We know that. Just even like the smallest situation is danger. And unless we're intentionally going in and soothing that nervous system and saying those exact same things to it, like, look, I know you're freaked out. I know you think because we messed up, it might mean everybody's going to leave us or XYZ, whatever we think. But to have that conversation with yourself where over and over you say, I've got you through this. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter if they leave because of a mistake. If they leave because of a mistake, fuck them. I'm here and I know we're worth more than that. And it's those like constant, just repeated conversations that eventually your nervous
Mhm.
system starts to believe you and go, okay, I guess she does got me. I know. And it takes that breath just like that and goes, okay, I can breathe. But again, it's like having to do it over and over and over again. because that's how our brain absorbs that information, is through repetition. And I know I feel this way sometimes. I do something for long enough and I start to wonder, is it even working? Like, is it even affecting anything? Because I keep having this thing come up where I'm having to reinforce this new belief again. And I think we all go through that at some point in our healing, where we're like, we're doing these things and I don't know if they're working, but they're fucking working. They're
Amen.
working. You just have to keep doing them. We just might not be able to see it right away, but there comes a day when we have an experience and we go, oh shit, I handled that totally differently than I would have.
Yeah. Well, I think also for me was just getting rid of anything negative in my life. It had to go. Anything that was telling me that I wasn't worthy and that I wasn't good, that I
Mm.
wasn't deserving of a good life, had to go. Like that was friendships, that was relationships, that was anything that I was watching on TV, what I was listening to, podcasts. I mean, I went from listening to true crime all the time to like now I can't hardly stomach it. You know, I'm like, I just want to stay in this vibration of fear. I mean, of love and joy and being supported all the time because we've done the fear. We've already lived that. We already know what that feels like. Everybody
Yeah.
knows what that fucking feels like. So
Yeah.
why not just switch the frequency and be like, I think I'm going to try, I'm going to play in this area and see. And people will look at you like you're crazy. Your life is falling apart. You don't have a partner. You don't know where your next paycheck's coming from. How are you possibly okay? You're just stupid. There's something wrong with you. And I'm like, bye. I've already lived that like fearful
Yeah.
life. I can't anymore.
I'm not doing it. I know where that track leads for sure. One of the most impactful things that I did in the last like 4 years was change the music I listened to. I would always
Mm,
just throw on the radio, in the car and listen to whatever songs are playing on whatever station I listened to. And that worked for a while. And then I started, of course, learning more about how much information we take in affects like how we think and feel and all this stuff. So I started experimenting with different things, and I started listening to specific playlists, specific songs that only had that positive, uplifting connection to spirit and source kind of
mhm.
lyrics. I started listening to the lyrics of songs that I'd listened to forever, and I'm like, I'm literally singing a song to myself that's making me feel bad about myself, because when you break down what those lyrics actually say, I'm basically singing that to myself every day when I
Right,
could be singing about how fucking abundant I am and how
right.
amazing and connected and whatever. And so that was about 4 years ago when I stopped listening to the radio. And now I have a hard time even putting the radio on, because I'm like, you're playing the same damn 5 songs over and over anyway.
Hmm.
Like I can't do it. But it has affected, like when I get in my car and I put on that playlist, it changes how I feel, right? At this point has a very noticeable effect, you know, on my mindset. It's amazing. And I
Yeah,
stopped watching the news too. That's a big
yeah, me
one.
too.
Yeah, fuck
I
that
don't
news.
engage. Man, I was like a hardcore Democrat a few years ago, and now I'm like, I can't. They're all ugly. They're just
Yeah, they are.
mean and
Everybody's
fearful and
being
divisive.
mean to
Yeah,
each other. And yeah, I just don't want to be a part of that. But for a while, yeah, I was sucked into it. And I'm like, man, I was stressed out over just the negativity, the fear. I mean, that media feeds that to us anyway. I think our world could be a beautiful, peaceful place, and the media would still tell us to be scared of it sometimes, you know?
yeah,
So I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm not going to play that game with you. I'm going to reinforce in my mind what I believe to be true, is that, we can be good to each other. We
yeah.
don't have to be mean to each other. So,
No, we don't. No, we don't.
mm,
This was such a great conversation. Do you
I
have
love
anything you
talking
want to
about it.
add? I know, me
No,
too.
we talked about so much on our last one, and this one was its own like beautiful conversation. Like I
Yes,
I love it. I can't wait to do this with you again. Will you have me back?
of course. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Um, I see a great future for us working together collaboratively because I think about you often when I make posts. I'm like, oh, Lisa would love this. I need to tag her. Um, so I'm totally stalking you and all the things.
I
Tell us
love
where
you.
to find you. I know you're on at Infinite Unfolding on TikTok.
Yep. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as the Infinite Unfolding. And
Okay.
actually, just this week, I started moving all of my TikTok content to the other platforms. And so while they're
Okay.
not my main platforms, you can now go to any of them and see any of my videos. And we're going to be posting on all of them going forward. And one last plug, in about a month, we're going to have some somatic healing workshops coming out. So I've partnered
Okay.
with a somatic healing coach. I actually just talked to her before I hopped on the podcast with you. And yeah, we're working on a couple of really cool workshops to bring to everybody to learn how to integrate that somatic healing into your day-to-day life and start seeing those shifts.
I
So I'm
love that
super
so much.
stoked about that. That's what we're working on right now. So I just
I
can't
love
wait to
that
get
so
that.
much. And you're going to
Yeah.
write a book, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that is definitely happening. Everybody has said it my whole life. They're like, you should write a book. I'm like, I don't have time to write a book, but it sure would be funny and interesting. People might want to read it. I don't know.
Just manifest that shit. Manifest the time to write all the
Yes.
things. You're such a gift to the world, Lisa. I'm so
Oh, I
thankful for
love
you.
you. Thank
I'm so
you. Thank you
thankful
for
for
being
you.
my friend. And I
Yes.
can't wait to talk with you more again. I love our conversation. So thank you.
Me too. Okay, don't go anywhere.
Okay.